Hello, well, we're going to look at this ethnic inequality in education 35 marker. The first thing I notice is it's got assess the view that ethnic inequality is the green grid. So I like that grid a lot. So assess the view that ethnic inequality is caused by in-school factors. Because it's got the word view, on my page, I do 6 paragraphs, 3 for the question, 3 against. Whenever it's got the word view, may, extent, or it gives a statement. So in this case, it would say ethnic inequality is caused by in-school factors. Discuss. Normally the statements end with the word discuss. Because it's got the word view, I know I have to do 3 paragraphs for, 3 paragraphs against. And it tells me it is the green ethnicity grid. Examiners don't know we use colour coordinated grids. They don't know anything about what we do, but that's what I see, and that's what makes me think of the green grid. This side is going to be that the ethnic inequality is caused by in-school. It's going to be all this side. And then this side is going to be outside. Okay. So paragraph 1, ethnic inequality is caused by in-school factors due to institutional racism. Ethnicity in this exam board is really, it hasn't been used as its own exam question. It's generally has been mixed up for a really, really long time, which is, I mean, in my opinion, quite disappointing. But paragraph 1 is institutional racism means that the factors are caused inside, that the inequality is caused inside school. So I'm going to take who's in that grid. So I've got Gilbourne, again, one of my all-time favourite sociologists, that black males are seen as a threat. Black males are seen as a threat and disruptive. They are negatively stereotyped and labelled. More likely to be allocated to bottom sets and are 3 times more likely to be excluded. For Gilbourne, black males are seen as a threat, they're seen as disruptive, they're more likely to be allocated to bottom sets, and are 3 times more likely to be excluded. With him is himself, Gilbourne and Bull. Middle class parents can guide their children through racist setting and streaming. Gilbourne, and Bull, and in the grid as well is Pilkington. For Pilkington, it's very short. He found racially discriminatory practices in the allocation of pupils to sets. So they're all in the same section of the grid, all under the category of racism. Gilbourne, black males are seen as a threat. Gilbourne and Bull, middle class parents can guide their children through racist setting and streaming. And Pilkington found evidence of racially discriminatory practices. So my analysis, this shows, analysis of AO2, this shows ethnic inequality is caused by in-school factors. It shows it is caused by in-school factors. Racism means black groups are denied access to the curriculum due to higher rates of exclusion. That's just official exclusions. Black groups are denied access to the curriculum or access to learning due to higher rates of exclusion. Remember, it's not through any particular behavior, it's through a perception generally that the relationship's broken down. So because Black groups are denied access to the curriculum or learning due to higher rates of exclusion, and bottom set denies and bottom set restricts learners' grades. Can't get an 8 or a 9. So it is in school factors because higher rates of exclusion mean that those groups are denied an education. Remember, as I told you, often due to hairstyle, even though it's really culturally significant, or they're allocated into bottom sets more than white groups, and therefore their grades are being restricted. Remember, as a group, start school with one of the highest reading rates in some areas. So, however, for Mirza, it is not just in school factors. Black girls work hard to resist racist setting and streaming. Black girls work very hard to resist racist setting and streaming, and therefore external factors may support them. So girls work hard to resist racist setting and streaming, and therefore external factors may support them to achieve in spite of racism within education. So I'm inferring there that parental support there might help those girls resist. And again, in fairness, Gilborn and Ball is the same. You can work hard to resist it if you've got external factors that can support. So institutional racism, we're going to go, no, it's outside the school that's causing the inequality. So in the outside school factors, we're going to say it's not in school factors, but parental involvement. So Driver and Ballard found that South Asian parents have high aspirations for their children and really push them to work hard and be successful. South Asian parents have high aspirations for their children and really push them to work hard and be successful. For Bryce, 59% of Afro-Caribbean families are lone parents headed by women, compared with 22% of white groups. It means that this community lacks a male role model. Okay. Driver and Ballard Bryce, Sewell. Sewell found that Afro-Caribbean underperformance is due to absent fathers. It can make it harder to adopt the demands of school. So I've got Driver and Ballard, Bryce, Sewell. Afro-Caribbean underperformance is due to absent fathers. It can make it harder to adopt the demands of school. Again, they're all in the same section of the grid. This shows ethnic inequality is not caused by in-school factors, but due to parents' level of involvement. They can ensure students complete homework, revision, making them more successful. It's parental involvement. Parents can be a positive resource. They can encourage their children to complete homework, revision, and making them more successful. The suggestion is that an absence of fathers might make this more challenging. However, first of all, for Pilkington, we can't generalise. To all South Asian groups. There's huge differences in achievement. So Bangladeshi, Pakistani, Indian groups have huge different rates of achievement. And Gilbourne notes that Afro-Caribbean boys start school with one of the highest reading rates, suggesting it is in-school factors, and that Sewell and Bryce have no evidence to support their theory. They've got no kind of evidence to support their theory. It'll just be an idea plucked. So, paragraph 4, is internal school factors. Paragraph against, no, it's not. Back again, 4, it is in school factors that cause ethnic inequality because the curriculum is ethnocentric. Particularly et al., they found that Afro-Caribbean youth resent their invisibility within the curriculum. Afro-Caribbean youth resent their invisibility within the curriculum. And there is a focus on white achievement, on white achievements. For the school curriculum is ethnocentric. The school curriculum is ethnocentric, and it ignores cultural and ethnic diversity and promotes the Great British Empire's past glories. Okay. We also note that the school uniform and holidays are based around Christian festivals. So again, tend to ignore other religious groups. Remember, we're quite secular, so we shouldn't necessarily be focusing on one religious group. Anyway, this shows that, let me check the question because you can easily veer off here. This shows that ethnic inequality is caused by in-school factors. The ethnic inequality is caused by in-school factors. The curriculum can cause minorities to disengage. It can cause minorities to disengage as it alienates by ignoring groups of colours' contributions. I mean, to everything, really. to groups of colours' contributions, and reduces some groups to unhelpful stereotypes. It is in school factors, it's the curriculum, it's causing groups to disengage, it's either their culture's being ignored or it's reduced them to unhelpful stereotypes, maybe reduced to a study of slavery. However, Asian culture both East Asian and South Asian culture is omitted. Basically, it's also ignored. It is omitted from the curriculum. But Indian and Chinese students still outperform white British, suggesting it cannot only be in school factors. This theory is not enough on its own to explain it. It can't be. Okay, yes, it's out in school. No, it's not. Yes, it's in school. We're going to go, no, it's not. Material deprivation. It's not in school factors, outside school factors like material deprivation or the impacts of poverty. So, for Smith and Noble, 38% of minorities live in poor housing, compared with 18% of white groups. Material deprivation can lead to poor quality housing, causing higher rates of sickness. It can lead to poor diet, or cause poor diet, lack of breakfast. That's what we say, isn't it? Lack of breakfast leads to lower rates of concentration. Just because I've got time, and it feels a bit brief there, I'm just going to add in Forsyth and Furlong because I know them and I think I might as well. The most significant factor deterring the working class from university is the cost. Could also add in their catchment area. Some catchment areas have a higher turnover of teachers. It leads to poor quality learning. Just because if you can remember it from the class grid, you might as well stick it in there. It's got a bit of a flow there now. Okay, so this shows that ethnic inequality is not caused. Got to check the question, I'm going off. Ethnic inequality is caused by in-school factors. So this shows ethnic inequality is not caused by in-school factors. It is material deprivation that leads to poor concentration, lower attendance, and therefore ethnic inequality in education. It's not in school factors, it's outside school. That's what's causing lower concentration, that's what's causing poorer attendance. However, the Bangladeshi community, statistically, experience the worst poverty of any ethnic group. But are at 50% and above national benchmarks, suggesting this external factor cannot be the only cause of ethnic and class inequality. Trying to bring it back to the question in the however, as much as we possibly can. It's hard. Okay. Yep, done those ones. The only two paragraphs left are language and peer groups. So, I would argue that language, so Modud, Labov, is an outside school factor. I didn't touch it to begin with because I thought it could potentially, depending on what they said, be argued either way. So this shows ethnic inequality is caused by outside school differences, particularly language. So because Modud is arguing that it's Bangladeshi and Pakistani students tend to lack fluency or may lack fluency, particularly if English isn't spoken at home. And Labov argued again that our Bangladeshi community seemed to suffer the worst in terms of fluency. So it's different to Bernstein because in that case, I would argue that it's a teacher's responsibility to break down, language codes when we're teaching new content. But with this example, what I'm suggesting is that a teacher really can't help a language barrier. If a child or young person is bilingual or trilingual. So it's potentially external. So this shows it is not in-school factors that cause ethnic inequality, but potentially language difference. But potentially language, it may mean learners struggle to understand the content, content textbooks, and exam questions. But again, a teacher's going to struggle to help, or an institution is going to struggle to address that. However, Mack and Gale, note that Afro-Caribbean groups have very good linguistic skills. And again, we note that Bangladeshi students are above benchmarks. That's why the stats are really important. Are above benchmarks. It suggests language cannot be the only or the main reason for inequality, for ethnic inequality. 2 seconds, folks. So the main reason for ethnic inequality in education. The only one left is peer groups. Peer group seems to be suggesting, because it's imitated from rap culture, which is external, again, the argument suggests it would go on an outside paragraph if you had time. So it's a bit uneven, this essay. 2 paragraphs for, 3 paragraphs against, or a 4th if you had time. Any questions? As always, please let me know. Thanks.